In today's English lesson, we are going to read a ton editorials together. This advanced lesson will help you to improve your English vocabulary and grammar. You need to know now to only to fully understand this article, but to participate in the culture of the English speaking world. We will read each paragraph, analyze. Finally, at the end of the lesson, we read the articles that you can improve your English pronunciations and intonations. So welcome back to Smile English Learn. Of course, I'm Zeeshan. So get let's started. Please subscribe these channels and bell icons. That first headline is that betrays betraying women voter. That important history is that the editorials likely argues that the election commissions of Pakistan's failure to address these issues is a betrayal of women's voters who are being denied their fundamental rights to participate in the domestic democratic process. This is a critical issue that requires immediate attention and actions to ensure that women's voices are heard and their rights are protected. In the context of Pakistani history, this issue is particularly concerning given the country's struggles with democratic governance and human rights. The editorial serves as a call to actions urging the Election Commission of Pakistan and other stakeholders to take concrete steps to address the systematic barriers that prevent women from exercising their right to vote. That important headlines betraying women voters. The first paragraph is that the Election Commission of Pakistan recent pledges to eliminate the gender gaps among voters fall flat in the face of troubling revelations about women's participations in the general elections. According to Patterns Coalitions 38, the turnout of women multiple polling stations across KP, particularly in Buner, was zero on polling day. This brings into questions the Election Commission of Pakistan commitment to enforcing electoral laws designed to protect women voting rights. An important word is that pledges to eliminate gender gap, fall flats, revelations, turnout in multiples brings into commitment to enforcing designed to. That important word is that pledge to. Pledge to is that formal promises or commitment. That is solemn or formal promise to do something, achieve a goal or support or cause. That example, the company pledged to reduce its carbon footprints by 50% within the next 5 years. Eliminate. Eliminate to completely remove or get rid of something. That, for example, the new policy aims to eliminate poverty in the community. Gender gap is that disparities or inequalities between men and women. Gender inequality. For examples, the organizations works to address the gender gaps in STEAM's educations, fall flats, fail to impress or have the desired effect, fall short. For example, the new product launch fall flat due to lack of marketing. Revelation is the disclosures or exposure of previously unknown or hidden informations. For example, the whistleblowers' revelations lead to a major scandals. Turnout, important word is that turnout, number of people participating or attending events. For example, the concert had a high turnout with thousands of fans attending. In multiple, more than one or numerous severals. For example, the company has offices in multiple cities worldwide, brings into, introduce or incorporates something new. For example, the new policy brings into effect stricter regulations, commitment to a pledge or promise to support or uphold some things that import. For example, the company commitment to sustainability is reflected in, in its CEO friendly practices, enforcing, implying, or implementing rules, laws, and regulations. For example, the police are responsible for enforcing traffic laws designed to created or planned with a specific purpose or goal or mind. For example, this software is designed to help small business manage their finances. The Commission's defense that Section 9(1) of the Elections Act, which has to do with a poll avoid in case of lower than 10% turnout, is discretionary rather than mandatory, show a reluctance to tackle deep-rooted electoral discriminations, while technically correct in something is nothing, then the law uses may rather than must. This interpretation betrays the spirit of the legislations, which is designed to combat the disenfranchisement of women voters. That Bonner, which witnessed similar controversies in 2013, continues to see such practices undercourses the failure of poll reform to create meaningful change. The Election Commission of Pakistan's decision to declare results without investigating polling stations showing zero females turnout sets a dangerous precedent, effectively signaling that such practices can continue with impunity. That important word is that all wide, discretionary, mandatory, reluctant, deep-rooted discriminations betrays spirit of legislations combat disenfranchisement undercourses meaningful precedents and impunity. Paul White. Invalid or nullified poll. A poll that has been declared invalid or nullified, often due to irregularities or errors or lack of participations. Discretionary, left to one's judgment or choice. For example, the company offers discretionary bonuses to employees who exceed performance target. Mandatory is the required or obligatory must be done. For example, wearing a seat belt is mandatory while driving. Reluctance, a feeling of unwillingness or hesitations. For example, she showed reluctance to take on the new projects, deep-rooted, formally established or ingrained. The company deep-rooted values guide its decision-making process. Discriminations, treatment, or considerations based on prejudice or bias. For example, the company has a zero tolerance policy for discriminations against employees. Interpretations and explanations or understandings of something's meanings or significance. The art of critics' interpretations of painting relieved its hidden symbolisms, betrays, displays, or reveals or hidden to a true nature. For example, her nervous behavior betrays her true feelings about the situations. Spirit of the essentials nature of character of something. For example, the spirit of the law is to protect the rights of all citizens. Legislations, laws are rules created by a government or governing body. For example, the government passed legislations to address climate change, combat a fight or struggle, often violent or intense. For example, the soldier engaged in combat with the enemy forces. Disenfranchisement, the art of depriving someone of their right to vote or participate in democratic process. For example, the, the discriminatory voting laws lead to widespread disenfranchisement of minority communities. Undercourses emphasize or highlights to draw attentions to something or make it more noticeable. Noticeable. An important example is that the recent scandal undercourses the need for greater transparency in government. Meaningful, having significance, purpose, or importance. The charity work has a meaningful impact on the life of the underprivileged children. President, a previous decision, actions, or event that serve as a guide model for future decisions or actions. The court's decision set a precedent for future cases involving similar issues. Impunity, freedom from punishment, penalty, or accountability for one actions. For example, the corrupt official acted with impunity, knowing they would not be held accountable. Next paragraph is that the election watchdog must recognize that its mandate extends beyond vote counting. It must ensure democratic participations for all citizens. Its current stance of focusing on constituency-wide percentage while ignoring localized voter impressions undermines the very purpose of the 10% threshold requirement. Important word watchdogs recognize extend beyond democratic participations stance of con- con- constituency-wide localized suppressions undermines thresholds. Watchdog is that an individual or group or organizations that monitors and oversees the action of others, often to prevent wrongdoings or ensure accountability. For example, the investigative journalist acted as a watchdog, exposing corruptions within the government. Recognize to acknowledge our identity, something's or someone identifications. She recognizes the actor from her favorite movies, extends beyond, goes further than or exceeds the limits of something. For example, the company influence extend beyond its local community. Democratic, democratic participations refer to the involvement of citizens in the decision-making process of a democratic government. It's about giving people a say in the decisions that affect their lives, ensuring that their interests and needs are taken into account. Stance of a position or attitude or viewpoint taken on the particular issues or matter. For example, the company took a stance of neutrality on the controversial issues, constituency wide, spanning or covering the entire area or populations are of a constituency. The, the constituency wide survey relieved strong support for the proposed policy. Localized, concentrated, or confined to a specific geographic areas or community. For example, the disease outbreak was localized to a small rural areas. Suppressions, the act of stopping or preventing something from being expressed, heard, or seen. For example, the government suppressions of free speech sparked widespread protest, undermines to weak, erode, or subvert something often secretly or gradually. For example, the corruption scandals undermines the public trust in the government. Threshold, the point of entry or beginning of something, a limit or boundaries beyond which a significant change or effect occurs. The threshold for admissions to the university is a high school diploma. The next paragraph is that moving forward, clear protocols are needed for investigating polling stations with low women's turnout even when constituency average meet minimum requirement. This should include mandatory inquiries into stations reporting zero female voters and stickers penalties for local authorities who fall who fail to ensure women participations. Without these steps, the Commission's promises of gender parity will remain empty rhetoric and Pakistani democracy will continue to exclude half its populations from meaningful participations. That important word is that moving forward, needed for penalties, rhetoric, exclude. Moving forward, progressing or advancing in a positive direction, often leading past issues or problem behind. That important example is that after the setback, the team is moving forward with a new strategy needed for required or necessary in order to achieve something, complete a task, or fulfill a purpose. For example, a college degree is often needed for career advancement. Penalties, consequences, or punishment imposed for breaking rules, laws, or regulations. For example, the company faced penalties for violating environmental regulations. Rhetoric, the art of using language effectively or persuasively, often influence or convince others. For example, the politician's rhetoric was persuasive, but critics argue it lacked substance. Exclude, to leave out, omit, or remove some things or someone from a group, list, or considerations. For example, the duplicacy excludes anyone under 18 from participating. So, analyze of the repeated uh, articles betraying women voters. The Election Commission of Pakistan recent pledges to eliminate the gender gaps among voters falls flat in the face of troubling revelations about women's participations in the general elections. According to Pattern Coalition's 38, the turnout of the women in multiple polling stations across KP, particularly in Boners, was zero on polling day. This brings into question the Election Commission of Pakistan's commitment to enforcing electoral laws designed to protect women voting rights. The Commission's defense that Section 191 of the Elections Act, which has to do with a poll wide in case of lower than 10% turnout, is discretionary rather than mandatory, show a reluctance to tackle deep-rooted electoral discriminations, while technically correct in the things that the law uses may rather than must. These interpretations betrays the spirit of the legislations which is designed to combat the disenfranchisement of women voters. The Bonner, which witnessed similar controversies in 2013, continues to see such as practices undergoes the failure of poll reforms to create meaningful change. The Election Commission of Pakistan's decision to declare results without investigating polling stations showing zero female turnout seats or dangerous precedents, effectively signaling that such practices can continue with impunity. The election watchdog must recognize that its mandate extends beyond vote counting. It must ensure democratic participation for all citizens. Its current stance of focusing on constituencies wide percentage while ignoring localized voter suppression undermines the very purpose of the 10% threshold requirement. Moving forward, clear protocols are needed for investigating polling stations with low women turnout, even when constituency averages meet minimum requirement. This should include mandatory inquiries into stations reporting zero female vote and and, and stickers penalties for local authorities who fail to ensure women participations. Without these steps, the Commission's promises of gender parity will remain empty rhetoric and Pakistani democracy will continue to exclude of its population from meaningful participations. So thank you very much. Please like these videos and share.